Good evening, Clarice.
Silence of the Lambs is a movie about many things. It's about the tension between the hunter and its prey, a commentary on sexism and the male gaze, and a chilling psychological portrait of a psychopath. But beneath all that there is something deeper, a theme that reaches far beyond the film itself, into psychology, philosophy, and the human condition itself. Change.
Lambs. They were screaming.
Whether it's past trauma, social rejection, or pure evil, the film asks a question that cuts through every of its storylines. Can the lambs ever be silenced? Or will they scream forever? Buffalo Bill, the film's main antagonist, murders women in a grotesque ritual, peeling off their skin and leaving a moth cocoon in their throats.
That's a bug cocoon.
The moth is a classic symbol of metamorphosis, a creature that locks itself in darkness before transforming into something beautiful. And in Bill's twisted vision, this metamorphosis is not symbolic, it's literal.
Why do you think he removes their skins?
Over a century ago, the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche described three transformations of the human spirit. First, the camel, who accepts the world's burdens. Then, the lion, who rebels and says no to imposed rules. And finally, the child, who creates new values and says a sacred yes to life. Think of it like this. The camel carries what exists. The lion tears it down, and the child builds something new from it. Around the same time, the Austrian psychologist Sigmund Freud described the human psyche in three parts. The id, our primal impulses. The superego, our internalized moral rules. And the ego, the mediator between the two and reality.
Oh, Agent Starling, you think you can dissect me with this blunt little tool?
And when taken the silence of the lambs under a microscope, we discover that the film itself mirrors these structures. Through Clarice, Bill, and Hannibal, the film becomes a study of transformation, or its absence, using the architecture of the human psyche as its blueprint.
Starling.
Clarice Starling is the emotional core of the Silence of the Lambs. From the very start, she carries the weight of a past she can't escape. The death of her father, the night on the farm, the helpless sound of lambs screaming as they are led to slaughter.
They were slaughtering the spring lambs.
They were screaming.
She tried to save one lamb and she failed. And that scream never stopped. It's not just a memory. It's the unresolved echo that drives everything she does.
While you could only dream of getting out, getting anywhere, getting all the way to the end.
In Freud's model, Clarice embodies the ego, constantly mediating between the primal urges of survival, the moral expectations of the FBI and society, and her own inner turmoil. Her sense of duty is immense, but so is the pressure to prove herself in a male-dominated institution that views her as a curiosity rather than an equal. Every elevator scene, every sidelong glance from her colleagues reinforces this. She is an outsider, carrying burdens no one else can see.
I thought if I could save just one, but
Her mission, catching Buffalo Bill, is inseparable from her personal mission, silencing the lambs. She's not only chasing a killer, she's chasing silence.
You think if you save poor Catherine, you could make them stop, don't you? You think if Catherine lives, you won't wake up in the dark ever again to that awful screaming of the lambs.
But as Freud argued, what is repressed always returns. Clarice's childhood trauma resurfaces through her encounters with both Hannibal and Bill. No matter how accomplished she becomes, the lambs keep screaming. Not because she's weak, but because trauma doesn't always vanish. It demands to be faced.
Grace!
And so, Clarice descends, literally, into darkness. In his work Beyond Good and Evil, Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "If you gaze long enough into the abyss also gazes into you."
Tell me his name, Doctor.
For Clarice, the abyss has a face, and that face is Buffalo Bill. By choosing to face him, she begins her transformation. Catching Bill doesn't silence the lambs, but it marks the moment she stops running from it. And when she finally steps into the abyss, confronting her own darkness and Bill, she comes out victorious. She moves from the camel, burdened by trauma, toward the child, a figure who says a sacred yes to life, despite the ever-looming presence of the abyss.
Dr. Lecter. Dr. Lecter.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
While Clarice represents a difficult but genuine path toward transformation, then Buffalo Bill embodies its collapse. Bill obviously wants to change, but he never looks inward. His metamorphosis is purely external, a new skin, a new identity, stitched together from the bodies of others.
He covets. That is his nature.
It's an attempt to change into something different without ever understanding why. In Nietzsche's terms, Bill never moves beyond the camel. He carries the weight of his childhood wounds and social rejection, but he never rebels like the lion or creates new values like the child.
Look for severe childhood disturbances associated with violence. Our Billy wasn't born a criminal, Clarice. He was made one through years of systematic abuse.
He is stuck, suffocating, under the burden of a self he cannot accept.
We begin by coveting what we see every day.
Through Freud's lens, Bill is dominated by the id, raw impulses and primal urges, with almost no ego to mediate or superego to restrain. His psyche isn't balanced, it's collapsed inward. Instead of facing the abyss within, he tries to build a new self from the abyss itself.
Billy hates his own identity, you see, and he thinks that makes him a transsexual. But his pathology is 1,000 times more savage and more terrifying.
Take this scene for example. Bill stands naked, wearing his half-finished suit of skin, performing for a reflection that doesn't exist. He talks, he poses, he whispers.
Would you fuck me?
A desperate man trying to construct meaning through surface, because the core is unbearable to face. Freud would describe this as a repression gone pathological. Bill isn't integrating his trauma, he is mutilating it.
She had an object deliberately inserted into her throat.
Was it a butterfly?
A moth. Why does he place them there, Doctor?
The significance of the moth is change. Our belly wants to change too.
Rather than affirming who he is, Bill is consumed by resentment towards his own identity and the world that rejected him. He is not transcending, he's annihilating.
And you don't know what pain is!
In the darkness of his basement, where Clarice gazes into the abyss, Bill lives inside it. And unlike Clarice, there is nothing waiting for him on the other side.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
And finally, we arrive at Hannibal. Unlike Clarice or Bill, Hannibal doesn't seek change at all. He doesn't wrestle with his past, he doesn't repress, he simply is what he is. A monster.
Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab, where will it tickle you?
Take this thing back to Baltimore.
Clarice tries to change her world. Bill tries to change himself. And Hannibal changes others.
Jesus Christ!
In Nietzschean perspective, Hannibal represents the lion, the spirit that rebels against the values imposed by society.
No! I will listen now.
He rejects conventional morality and forges his own rules, but he is not a noble creator.
Oh, God.
Unlike the child, Hannibal doesn't build new values. He bends existing ones to his will. His rebellion is precise, cold, and surgical. He mentors Clarice, mutilates guards, terrifies the public, and devours his victims.
Most serial killers keep some sort of trophies from their victims.
I didn't.
No, you ate yours.
All while remaining utterly unchanged himself.
Oh, Clarice, your problem is you need to get more fun out of life.
Hannibal is terrifying because his ego isn't battling his id or superego. He's integrated them completely. There is no repression, no screaming clams buried in his subconscious. His desires, his intellect and moral code form a single, unveeringly coherent system.
I would not have had that happen to you. This courtesy is unspeakably ugly to me.
That's why he reads Clarice so effortlessly. He recognizes repression in others because he himself has none.
Good nutrition's given you some length of bone, but you're not more than one generation from poor wire trash, are you, Agent Starling?
Some might even see echoes of what Friedrich Nietzsche called an Übermensch. Someone who operates beyond good and evil, unbound by herd morality. But this resemblance is twisted, because Hannibal doesn't create a higher moral vision. He simply exists outside morality altogether. He is the abyss, wearing a human face. And yet, his relationship with Clarice reveals something more complex. In this particular scene, where he reaches out to touch her fingers through the prison bars,
Goodbye, Clarice.
it's not just a creepy gesture. It deliberately mirrors Michelangelo's creation of Adam, the divine and the human, almost touching. It's a moment of recognition. Clarice reaches into the abyss, and the abyss reaches back. This is Hannibal's form of transformation, not by changing himself, but by acting as a catalyst. He forces others, to confront their hidden selves. He doesn't evolve, he awakens.
What became of your lamb, Clarice?
Clarice gazes into the abyss and finds light. Buffalo Bill lives in the abyss, surrounded by darkness. And Hannibal is the abyss. He is the one who gazes back.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
Clarice M. Starling.
So can the screams of past trauma ever be silenced? Silence of the Lambs doesn't give us a triumphant yes or a tragic no. Its answer is quieter, more unsettling. The film suggests that trauma doesn't simply disappear.
You still wake up sometimes, don't you? You wake up in the dark and hear the screaming of the lambs.
It lingers in the unconscious. Sometimes louder, sometimes quieter, but always there. Hannibal himself doesn't change. He moves cages, clothes and locations, but his essence remains constant. Like trauma, he adapts only in form, not in nature. What changes is how much power he holds over those around him. The lambs may never fall silent. Their screams may never fully fade. But with effort and resilience, they can grow quieter.
Starling.
Well, Clarice, have the lambs stopped screaming?